So getting the Scout set up is a matter of putting down these mats and a sock to catch the debris that comes off the skis from grinding. Gets filtered out of the emulsion. Down here we've got a gauge to tell us how much emulsion we have. And this fun little thing is a magnet, and it collects the edge filings out of the emulsion over time. And that was fairly recently cleaned, so it can hold a lot more than that. So I'm about to power it on the machine, but turn on the air. That's where you power it on. Now I need to initiate it by pressing the 1 key. And this causes all the moving parts to check themselves out and calibrate their position and so forth. It quite often doesn't succeed on the first try. As in this try, it failed, so I power it off. Wait 11, 10, 9 seconds until it says it's ready to be cycled again. And then start her up. And see all the bits and pieces that move around here. Alright, and it says it's ready to go. So first thing we do is we tell it how many passes, side edge, base, base, grind, base, edge, and I generally do one more base, grind, finish it off. Sometimes I finish with a base edge, but with recreational skis it's safe to do it that way. And I'm going to go P-Tex the ski and put it in here. Oh, the other thing we need to do is select our structure. And right now it's set up for a nice diagonal. Tap in there to get more detail on what's going to be. These are pretty common settings of dressing RPMs, dressing speed, inclination, and diamond feed. These things don't get changed very much at all. These control so much, as well as the options of different structures here. And if we wanted to do a margin structure, we'd have those options, but we're not changing the structure. This is going to be just Jim Dandy. So I P-Tex the ski, and this is how it looks. And we're going to get fine grind. Put it in, you look to see where the stamps are going to hit. These are stamps. On the binding's okay. What you're aiming for is right about the start of the shovel. A little ahead doesn't hurt. And right there at the end, it's good. These skis are 134. So we go back to the setup mode and set them to 140. A little tall, a little longer than what you'd normally do. You set the tail up. The tip, that's a pretty standard tip configuration. We can change the style of the ski, but we don't need to. And we can change the rocker of the ski. but we don't need to on this one. So with the sequence all set up and the structure chosen and the shapes defined, we are just about ready to start running a ski through. Here we go, we're going to run these skis through. There's the sequence that we're going to do. 4 base passes on the stone, 1 base pass on the edges, and 1 side edge. Boom. And we bring up that mode to ensure that the stamps get pressed down properly. That'll remember it for the next ski. Scout's a little conservative with pressing stamps down, so that's why we add it at the end. Back and forth. Only doing the base grind in the left to right direction. If we did it in both directions, we'd get mirror images of the pattern on it. Zooms back, and now it's going to do a base grind and a base edge. One more pass on the base grind, and then it's going to switch skis. And I'll follow that one through so you can see it doing the initial part of the process, which we kind of missed as I was working the stamps. Ski comes down. Okay, done with that one. Shifts the skis over. Bada boom, bada bang. Stamps come down. Because I've got them remembered here, they'll come down automatically this time. And it's going to do a side edge. First base grind. And so on. We'll finish up down here and the door will open and I'll show you the skis. Final pass. Blast off some of the emulsion. And we take a peek. So it looks pretty good. So after gummy and wax and a rotor brush and a hand brush, final product. Good to go. So this next pair of skis, or 2 pair, are going to be getting race tunes. So I'm going to blank the ski first. And so that takes us to this setting. And this number gets reduced significantly for this. It makes it a longer, finer structure that way. And fewer advances of the diamond. 2 instead of 4. Well, let's make it 3. And then whenever you change the stone dressing, you have to dress the stone. So boom, goes through. You can't see it because it's underneath, but there's a diamond, a number of diamonds stuck on a metal rod that runs up against the stone while it's spinning. And it advances across the stone and sets the pattern. In this case, a very mild, straight linear pattern. So this is what the ski looks like before. It's gotten some rough treatment, got some P-Tax. It's going to get blanked. So when we're blanking, we're going to get rid of all the edge passes and go with a series of base grinds. Bada boom, bada bang, got a flat ski. And here's a blanked ski. It's not perfect, but it's going to get structure anyway, so basically you blank it to remove any old structure and to make sure you've got enough room to get the proper base bevel. Alright, so now it's time to put on a nice thumbprint structure on these 2 pair of Salm skis. So we go into this mode, change this to a race margin thumbprint. Boom. 16 here, goes back. You can see how it changes things a bit. 65 here for the width. Wave height 80. And the thing we have to change here, which is not a usual change, is the speed. And we want to do our fine grind at 250. And call that good. And we will double check our numbers. Dress it. And the dressing setting is such that it will blank the stone and then it will dress the stone. So it uses a little bit more of the stone in doing that, but it also makes it a much cleaner structure because you don't have possible ghosts coming through. This is the first phase where pre-faces is stone. In a second you'll hear some clicks. That will be the stone advancing. That's actually putting the structure on. it's done. One of the things this pair of skis needs is a different bevel setting. So we go in and do a manual adjust of the bevels. Verifies that we want to do that. Then we watch the discs relax. Now you can turn these knobs, which changes the position of these flats against that stop. And that determines the bevel. It sets both the side and base bevel according to those numbers, and we're looking at a 0.75 and 2, I believe. So we are going to set these to Roman numeral 4. 1, 4. 1, 4. And then we tell it we're done, and it will go through the process of resetting the machine. And here we have another final product. Looking pretty fine on this margin chevron thumbprint. Nice and shiny. Nice structure. So of course you have to put the machine to bed at the end of the night. So you press the off button, takes it back into this page, and you turn the water on. Turn the water on. There we go. Sometimes fingers just doesn't work, and of course you have to change the directions of these so the water goes through the hose instead of into the machine. And just rinse the whole thing out. Water off. Start a spin cycle. Spin cycle occurs automatically during the use of the machine to prevent the buildup of emulsion in and on the stone. And now it just goes buzzing away, a couple thousand RPM. Moving all the moisture. Then we'll pull off the sock. You can see it's kind of wet and full. The polyester fabric underneath catches some gunk too, which is nice. Just kind of shake it down. Get most of it at the end attached to the machine, and that gets dumped into the trash. Polyester fabric gets rinsed, and the machine is done. Oh, and turning off the machine and turning off the air. Night night. Here is a modification to our machine. This allows us to do single skis, because obviously the slot's not big enough to take a pair of them. But single skis bigger than 215. So you just kind of load them up, poke them through the hole, go into one ski mode, and bada boom, bada bang. You got large skis in your Scout.